U-GeekTV.
Welcome back to the Unapologetic Opinion right here on U-GeekTV. I'm your host, Jarius, the Unapologetic Geek. I am joined yet again by my esteemed colleagues, Hoodie C and Quad G. In today's episode, I'm really looking forward to this one. We're going to get into Daredevil Born Again episodes 1 and 2. We're going to talk a little bit, going to get a little bit off topic. Talk about LeBron James versus Stephen A. Smith, which honestly was hilarious. And on a not so hilarious note, we got to recognize Gene Hackman after his untimely and unfortunate death. We got some more Diddy news, goddamn. And I got some theories on George R.R. Martin, the author of Game of Thrones, the whole book series. And he said some stuff recently, and I got to talk about it. But first things first, we got to get into Daredevil Born Again. Bruh, I am so happy to have this show back. Did both of you all watch the Netflix show?
I started it.
Okay, Chris did.
Yes, sir.
Greg. Look, back in the Netflix Marvel days when they were loosely connected to the MCU, Daredevil came on the scene, and as a young aspiring screenwriter, I always felt that Daredevil would make a fantastic TV show instead of a movie. And I was proven right with that television show. 3 great seasons. First season was awesome. The second season gets more comic booky, and I think that's why a lot of people really didn't rock with it as much as the first season. That third season is brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Beginning to end is awesome. And fans clamored and asked for this for 7 years. And then Charlie Cox showed up in No Way Home, then showed up again in She-Hulk, and I'm not even really going to talk about that appearance. But Marvel signed the dotted line. They said, look, let's get everybody back. Let's get the fans what they want. Originally, this was supposed to be an 18-episode, 30-minute show. And Kevin Feige saw the first few episodes, told them to scrap all this shit and start over again because y'all about to be the death of us, right? But here we go, Born Again. We got the same tone exactly as the Netflix show. It had quite the bombastic opening. And Chris, I'm going to start with you, man. How does it feel to be back with the devil at Hell's Kitchen?
It's phenomenal, bro. It was, at the time it was airing, it was one of my favorite shows to watch. You know what I'm saying? So just getting a chance to spin the block again with him, it feels really good, you know, because I always feel like he never really gets his just dues in a way. You know, nobody really gives Daredevil his flowers. And, you know, it could be because, you know, he's obviously more local in his in his shit. You know what I'm saying? But phenomenal, bro. Like phenomenal. I've always been fascinated with what he's capable of doing. So yeah, I'm here with it, man. I enjoyed the shit out of these first 2 episodes for sure.
Absolutely. And first of all, I really like this poster that they went with. All of the promotional artwork and everything was really dope. But this is really encompassing what's great about the Daredevil series in the first place. You have these 2 characters who are very different, but in some ways also alike. Kingpin is willing to do whatever it is that he can to have that power over the criminal underworld. And Matt Murdock, as we find out as the show goes on originally, is about willing to do everything he can to stop Kingpin's conquest and preserve justice, both as an attorney and as a crime fighting vigilante, quite frankly. With that said, what I really liked about Born Again was how it kind of feels like a world that was already lived in. Like it's not like we're freshening up the audience on who these characters are or anything like that. It feels like a natural continuation from where we ended off at. And Greg, I know you didn't finish the original series, but we left the original series without him being in the Daredevil suit. It was a whole brouhaha, so to speak, between he, Kingpin, and Bullseye. And I love that we saw him back in that costume. They gave him the his bow staff or nunchucks from the comics that kind of function in the same way that Peter Parker's web functions, and it allows him to go on the skyline. I thought that was really cool, and that was unexpected. And we get a badass fight scene at the beginning of this scene between he and Bullseye that was honestly brutal. Some of the CGI was a little questionable at some points, I must admit. But it was a pretty badass fight scene. And sometimes it's kind of hard to believe that man is blind. But anyways, one of my favorite parts is when he lands behind the steam and you see that devil silhouette when Bullseye is trying to get away from him.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of want to get into like the way this fight jumps off. Bullseye shoots Foggy straight in the heart, takes him out immediately at the opening of this. Greg, as somebody who didn't finish the original series, and this is your introduction to the new show, how did you feel about everything, like the entire fight scene? How did you feel coming into this world?
All right, so I did watch it when it was on Netflix. So I just like everything on Netflix. I start then stop because it's so much shit on it. But I was a bit on the edge with Daredevil because I was like, he's blind, I get it, but I'm like, I really don't see him as a superhero. I'm sorry, that's just me. But honestly, I got to give my man a shout out, Vincent Ofiano. I know I'm screwing that up.
Yeah,
that's my.
I got you.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. That's my dude from Full Metal Jacket. Men in Black, Law and Order. Like I've been rocking with him. To see him in the role as Kingpin, I'm rocking with it. Like straight up rocking with it. Love his aura, like the way he captures the Kingpin role, like how he's ominous, but at the same time, it's like you don't know how to trust him. Like he makes you feel like you're safe, but at the same time, it's like you know your neck is on the line. I really enjoyed the Bullseye fight, like straight out, rest in peace, Foggy, but it is what it is. Like that's how it dropped. Like that's how it is. I think with this series, I did see how Daredevil is going from like containing himself to be that vigilante hero to whatever it takes. I'm gonna stop this man. And that sit down in the diner, like when they were both sitting down reminiscing of old times and getting to know each other, it was kind of like bad. It was kind of like bad meets good, but good and bad swapped. I kind of feel like, Kingpin is still Kingpin, but at the same time, he's the face of what good should be. I'm trying to help the people. I'm for the people. Yeah. On the other hand, Daredevil is like, well, Matt Murdock is like, look, I'm kind of sick and tired of your shit, and I'm going to take care of all y'all. Like, straight up. Like, I'm going to take care of all y'all. But, man, the 2 episodes in, bro, this is going to be a powerful series, like a super powerful series.
So we jumped ahead. We jumped ahead just a little bit. with the Kingpin part. And that was no, you good. Man. No, you trust me, you fine. I'm about to catch up with you. Right quick. So what's interesting about the Bullseye fight is how it ends. Matt Murdock made the decision to kill Bullseye on that rooftop. That cannot go. And so if you finish like the original show, Kingpin, Bullseye, and Matt Murdock or Daredevil get into a triple threat inside of Kingpin's what was that, like a master suite or something like that?
Yeah,
penthouse,
like a loft type.
They get into an incredible 3-way fight. Like in the way the fight plays out, it highlights all of their abilities or their fighting styles, but it's so fluid. Like if you're not gonna finish the show, look up that fight. It was awesome. Matt comes out of that fight not wanting to kill either one of them. Like he preserves his straight and narrow. I guess the dilemma of killing a vigilante. I mean, not a vigilante, a criminal. He survives that dilemma. In the first episode of this one, for him to decide to kill Bullseye was crazy. Like that was such a big deal. So then we enter Kingpin, who was injured at the end of the Echo show. I know y'all didn't watch that. And maybe you did, Chris. I know I really didn't watch it. Like it was all right, but Kingpin got injured. Didn't she shoot him in the face?
I didn't watch
Echo
it.
shot him in. Okay. Yeah. So if you look at the left side of his face is fucked up. The reason him coming in when Vanessa is meeting with the 5 families, which is a badass scene, when he walks in and all the family members get up except for Vanessa and leave without him saying a word. I thought that's who he was throughout the run of the Netflix series. But that vulnerability that he had with Vanessa immediately after is part of why Kingpin is such a great character. Anytime Vanessa was threatened or anything like that, if there was something that could come back on her, it almost broke him. As powerful as a man as he is, it almost broke him. So him and Matt going to that diner scene, them boys went to war in the costume and out of the costume. Like they've been at each other's necks. I love the dialogue, and it gets a little meta, but I love when Kingpin tells her it's not entirely unpleasant to see you again. And it kind of in that moment, you see 2 people who were enemies kind of reminiscing on the old days when they was beating each other ass. But you also see 2 men who were tired. And that's why, excuse me. And that's why Matt kind of was like, look, I'm going to level with you. Are you really done with this bullshit? Because I'm tired. And I'm honestly not in the mood. Foggy is dead. I will come out there and beat your ass, and I'm probably going to kill you. I need assurance that you truly do want to help these people, and we're done with this. I like that scene, and I like Kingpin reassuring him, saying, yeah, I'm done. But at the same time, I'm tired of this vigilante bullshit too. So if I see you running around in that suit, it's up. They mutually parted ways on decent terms. And we're basically off to the races as far as episode 1 is concerned. As far as the juxtaposition between how they were in the first show and how they are now, like Chris, what did you think of the new dynamic that they introduced to us in Born Again?
I think there's definitely a level of mutual respect there for sure. When you on the brink of putting hands on somebody to where you beat them within an inch of their life, like you said, I think the dynamic of them butting heads, kind of believing in the same thing but not at the same time type shit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, Matt Murdock, lawyer during the day, Daredevil at night, trying to protect the people. Fisk, again, trying to protect the people now. He's been elected mayor and stuff. So both trying to protect the people, but at the same time, Fisk has his shit going on. Matt has his shit going on. So I think that was just a beautiful, beautiful way to start this series off. Just having them meet with a battle of the minds almost. And like you said, hey, if you show up in that suit, it's over with. Hey, if you step out of line, I'm gonna be there. Same thing from Matt Murdock type shit. So
yeah,
I appreciated it, man. Like the dynamic is something that we don't really get to see that much in TV shows these days between supervillain and vigilante hero. So I'm here for it, man.
So I guess this gets me to the next episode. Because quite a few things happen, and we follow Kingpin as the mayor for the most part.
Right.
Are we really to believe that this man is turned away from his criminal ways? Because the
No.
show is framing it. The show is framing it as though he has. And the biggest indication that he is turned away from his criminal ways is I thought he was threatening the police commissioner's family.
I thought he was
It's,
too.
it's the line after that where he says he thought he could keep that secret family a secret.
Right.
He went the TMZ route. I'm just going to expose everything. I'm not going to kill him. I'm just going to expose everything. And he was threatening when he did it, but it gives a little levity when you find out I just got information on him. I'm not going to try and kill him or anything like that.
Facts.
I thought that was pretty cool. And again, it's playing with that. Okay, will he, like, is he really a man of the people now? Does he really want to? Because earlier in that episode, you saw where he decided to have that crew go ahead and fix that hole, man. I'll whatever permit or whatever you need, fix a hole. And he made a big song and dance out of it to the people, but he really is focused on helping the city. Like even when he was in the limo, talking to his PR lady, he was like, "Look, man, we can't get out here and do something. I gotta sit up here and chill or whatever." And I gotta bring it up because of the climate we're in. I know this show was filmed during, the buildup or during the election circuit, but it does have a Trump-like effect. I have seen people question, okay, because he is behaving differently, a little bit differently this time than he was last time, right? He seems less theatrical and more determined and also more vengeful in a way, which this is not a political show, but I'm just being honest. It does make you wonder, okay, where are they going with this? Is he supposed to be a Trump-like character? And where do we ultimately end up in terms of Kingpin? Greg, I saw that kind of raised your eyebrows a little bit. Care to jump on that point?
Man, you hit it right on the head. I'm just trying to figure out who is our vigilante, because it definitely looks like
that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, because it definitely has the undertones of what we are currently going through right now. And I don't believe, for the sake of the series, I don't believe Kingpin is turned away from his criminal ways. I think he understands how the legal process works, because the girl told him, BB told him, hey, you lose the police, you lose the city. So in that mindset, I do believe there are some things that he's going to try to do as far as like not necessarily blackmail, but understand how to keep people in his pocket and do his own biddings without him having to get his hands dirty. I don't think he's fully decriminalized himself. But the undertones of how the political system is right now, we got a celebrity, somebody that people think is a con man. He's a criminal. He has his hands in some criminal activities. It's just one of the things I kind of feel like he does TV show. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like that's the route they chose to take. So,
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see ultimately where we end up here. It's a very will he, won't he situation. But I'm looking forward to where we ultimately end up in terms of where it goes. So we lost Greg, but in the midst of it, we were talking about Kingpin, and he raised a interesting point. Like, who is the vigilante here? I think that's an excellent question to put out there, because you have two people who are trying to be heroes in their own ways after going a non-heroic route up to this point. Like Daredevil tried to fucking kill Bullseye, and Kingpin has murdered half of the NYPD as well as other people. So you got two people really on a redemption story on their own. Hell, we didn't talk about it. The fact that what's old girl name? Last name Paige. Damn, I can't remember. I can't believe I've forgotten her name. But she doesn't even really fool with Matt anymore because he kind of pushed her away or whatever.
Right.
That was an interesting way of kind of writing that character off, because this is truly a new adventure for Matt. But I thought it was really interesting how both of these characters are on the same path of redemption, but at the same time, they're inevitably going to come into conflict with each other. So moving on, you have in this next episode where um some guys, it looks like they're mugging somebody. And then this other guy, he comes and he beats both of the guys up, ends up killing one of them by pushing him into he didn't intentionally push him into a subway car. Other guy come to find out these are some corrupt cops. And the fucking dude that was fighting both of them is White Tiger. He a whole vigilante himself.
Facts.
And you get into the corruption of the cops, which again, both Kingpin and Matt are dealing with this problem now. Kingpin is dealing with it, but he kind of has a vendetta again, going back to like the Trump comparison here. He has a vendetta against the police. And he told the commissioner straight up, I ain't getting y'all.
Facts.
I was trying to be cool, but you talked all that shit at their funeral. I ain't giving none of y'all shit, and no, you don't get to retire. You better sign your ass back up because I want to make sure I get to you, especially. That was a cold ass scene, man. Again, a reminder of how badass Kingpin can be. But instead of killing him or killing his family, he decided to threaten him with mess. But I guess we'll get to the end of the episode, which was it was a bit surprising. Like I knew we were gonna get a fight, but I didn't know it was gonna end up like that. And Matt, of course, saves the guy that the police were trying to kill originally. And he fights the two dirty cops who were, trying to do the guy in. Or maybe one of the guys was, maybe it was just one dirty. Yeah, it had to be one dirty cop. The other cop died. But the other guy, I think, was just like a thug or some shit.
Right.
Bro, the way Matt beat their ass, man. That dude he damn near tore old boy arm off. First of all, that shit was nasty. I didn't see that shit.
Gruesome.
Like, I was like, God damn. But it's the way he threw the other dude on his neck.
Hey.
And I'm still not certain that dude is alive, man. I still don't know if that dude is alive. Like, that's crazy. Greg, it looks like you're back and everything is normal. And we just got to the end of the second episode. Did Daredevil kill that other dude that he threw on his neck?
Bro, I thought he did. Like he snapped it for sure. Once them feet clicked and came down, that was a wrap.
Dog, at best, that dude is gonna come back. It's gonna come back with a damn neck cast on or neck brace or something like that. At worst, man. Like, or at best, that's the best he can hope for. I think Matt may have murdered that man. And then he screamed in the air at the end, man, like, nah, dog, I think you killed that dude. I think you killed him. Greg's still struggling, but it's okay. We're going to continue on. We ball. But, yeah, man, and again, I do appreciate that frustration that he had. Right. In terms of, like, he does not want to fight. He does not want to be the devil of Hell's Kitchen again. But he's itching closer and closer to it. Like, he been cold turkey off of being the Daredevil for a year at this point. And now it looks like he's being pulled back in, man. I mean, first two episodes were great. Honestly, we got a lot of good shit. What were your thoughts on their closing fight before we move?
Hey, man, ball up top, man. It was crazy, bro. Like, and I kind of felt like, even when he pushed, well, he didn't push him, he hemmed him up. Even when he hacked, Matt up against the wall, man, I'm like, all right, man, he probably just gonna kind of shrug it off and try to, just sneak out the door, and the cop and the other dirty dude gonna, run out trying to catch old boy. But like, when he kept slamming him up against the wall, I was like, it's up, bro. And
he was good till he drew blood.
Yeah. Like when he started leaking, it was curtains, bro. Like you said, the reverse hyperextension of the other dude arm, man, like I was like, yeah, it's over with him. But the way he dropped Buddy on his neck reminds me of a finisher that I used to come with on Arkham Asylum, the Batman game. And I'm like, there's no way Batman is not killing these people or giving them brain damage or something, dog.
Bro, it's never possible. It's no way Batman ain't killing somebody,
bro.
I be like, what the fuck?
Neck first, dog. Like, there's no, like you said, the best he could hope for is to have that fucking dog cone around his neck on the next episode, dog. Because
and that was the cop. That was the cop, man. That would, like, if that dude dead, they make Daredevil a killer too. Cop killer too, man. That shit crazy. I'm looking forward to finding out that dude condition, man, because he was fucked up, man. He was fucked up. He was good.
Yeah, man. But shout out to the internal struggle for Matt, man. He's going through it, bro.
Oh yeah. So moving on, we're gonna go a little bit off topic tonight.
Ooh,
it's a very interesting video came out of some dude sitting at the Lakers game called Stephen A. Smith looked like he was getting cussed out by LeBron James. And the greatest lip readers on the planet all exist on Twitter. Because we immediately found out that LeBron basically said, I'm not gonna tell you again, keep my son out of it or some shit like that. And LeBron walked off. It's the time in which this occurred that got me. It wasn't at the beginning of the game, it wasn't at the end of the game. It was like in the middle of the game, like around halftime or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. LeBron could not let this shit wait any longer. He did it. He made sure people were around because that's how LeBron does things. He makes sure people were around to see his interaction with Stephen A. And honestly, it has started an interesting conversation about sportscasters and athletes, which that's crazy because I saw Deion Sanders pour water on the sports reporter who was talking crazy about it. Right. What else did we see, man? We saw Floyd Mayweather go off on the ringside reporter after they spoke and he talked about whooping the dude ass. So it hasn't been uncommon seeing like sportscasters getting into it with the athletes that they talk about. But everything is magnified by social media, and it's such a big deal. And it's really the fact that LeBron approached him about his son, who also plays for the Lakers, that makes this very much unique. I'll be honest. As a father, kind of get it. Mm-hmm. I kind of get it. I do. Like as a dad, you know, you want to make sure you protect your kid. And they never stop being your kid.
Right.
Like, I don't care how grown they are, how old they are, they never stop being your kid. But at the same time, objectively speaking, Bronny is an adult in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Scrutiny is going to come with it because, honestly, LeBron, you brought it on. You're the one who said about watching the G League play that he could take a roster spot from a lot of guys. You said that. Nobody else put that on LeBron. I'm Bronny. You were the one that, you know, gave us the story saying that you knew he was going to be in the NBA when he was like a baby or some shit like that. Like, you did all of this stuff. You're also the one that won't necessarily allow him to travel with the G League team that he plays for. And you kind of keeping him right up under you. And, you know, you're the one that's doing this stuff. So when somebody says something about her, at the same time, like, we got to worry about you coming on the back end like none of that other stuff existed and people are just picking on it for no reason. When really, the reason why you quit social media was because people kept throwing the shit that you said about your son back at you. And you put a lot of pressure on the kid. And that was always my problem with the whole draft and Bronny thing and having them play together. That was always my problem. It's like, man, what is it going to do to his kid, right?
Right.
And we're seeing that play out in real time. And LeBron, rightfully so, stuck up for his kid. And it just so happened to be against the biggest sportscaster out right now. And so it's making quite a few rounds. Before we get to the fallout of this, what are your thoughts on, LeBron sticking up for Bronny and going at Stephen A. Smith publicly?
I'm kind of in the same lane, bro. Like, as a father, like, I completely understand, man. As an athlete, not so much, because that sets a terrible precedence going forward, that if anybody else has anything to say about Bronny, it could stain their image almost, because I almost guarantee you're not going to be as big as Stephen A is. So you're a lesser reporter or sports commentator, whatever. What do you think is going to be said about you? Because this guy is considered to be one of the GOATs.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can get this kind of backlash, what makes you think you safe? So
Exactly.
yeah, like, as a grown man, bro, like, you kind of never want to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? I was a little upset at Bron, but again, I understand that it's hard to turn off that dad switch sometimes.
Yeah.
It's super hard. So yeah, man.
Yeah. And so you raise an interesting point. Beyond this, what does it mean? So Stephen A did his show. First of all, I want to talk about how the NBA is covered as a whole. Because this interaction, there was a buildup that got us here. First, they asked LeBron about Anthony Edwards, saying that he didn't want to be the face of the league. Now, the reason I think Anthony Edwards said that is because of all of the drama with his baby mamas and shit. That's the real reason I think he said that.
100%.
But LeBron said, well, why would you want to be if people shitting on you all the time on TV? Other people have also communicated this. They're talking about inside the NBA and Charles Barkley, mainly Charles and Shaq. Stephen A took that and kind of went at LeBron in a response earlier that week. Okay. Again, setting the stage for how we got here. So people kind of cited that Stephen A basically proved LeBron's point. Right? Then we get to the game, we get to the confrontation. Stephen A comes back. Oh, no, hold on. Before that Thursday, Charles gets on and he calls Kendrick Perkins an idiot. And he kind of took a shot at Stephen A too.
Right.
And Charles' point was great. He said, all y'all talk about are the Lakers and the Warriors. You can say what you want about inside the NBA and how they cover the game and how they go at like a lot of talents. First of all, they're in a unique position with their greatness to really give some commentary about all the things going on. The second part of it is they talk about all the teams. I'm going to give them credit on that. They talk about all the teams every time they're on, and they are absolutely right. ESPN, First Take, and all those shows mainly just talk about the Warriors, the Lakers, or whatever messiness is going on, and it usually involves a Laker or somebody like Jimmy Butler, who is now a Warrior, right?
Right.
I see other shows, First Things First, and The Herd. Those shows cover a lot more teams and all that, but ESPN specifically tries to stay on Lakers, Celtics, Warriors, and the Celtics are boring right now, so you can't really talk about them. Stephen A, since this interaction on his own podcast, kind of looked melancholy when he was talking. Like he looked like he was on the verge of some kind of depression or some shit. That shit really hit him. that shit, LeBron coming at him like that, really hit him in a way that he was not prepared, right?
Facts.
So on top of that, he also said that like Draymond Green, he tried to talk to Draymond Green, he didn't return his calls and stuff, and other players are kind of unifying with LeBron on this, and they're freezing Stephen A out. Stephen A has always told us about the players that he talked to and all, and how he's not afraid of controversy and confrontation and all that kind of stuff. And that has hit him in a way that's so unique and that he's not used to. I've always said, I'd rather have you boo me than be indifferent and just ignore me entirely. Like that shit hitting Stephen A different way. I'm telling you, that shit is hitting him a different way. They really have stopped talking to him like that because of this. That shit is absolutely hitting him differently, man. And I want to get your side on this. With this, say what you want about Skip Bayless. Skip wouldn't have gave a fuck. I mean that. That's where the difference between Stephen A and Skip is. Skip wouldn't have gave a fuck about this, and Skip really would have rolled on it. He really would have been like, "Oh, y'all not talking to me?" Bet and just really go off. Stephen A, a different cat, man. Stephen A, like NBA players freezing him out. There's some unique shit for him. Because he was bothered by it when him and Allen Iverson was having their issues and all that kind of stuff. But this Stephen A, LeBron James thing been going on for a while because people from Clutch Sports and everything have been calling him and all that kind of stuff. They do have LeBron and Rich Paul do have people and a mandate on how you're supposed to talk about LeBron and all that kind of stuff. And ESPN just fall in line with it. But I really want to see how differently Stephen A covers the game now. And it has been different since that interaction. With that being said, man, like, just what do you think about how the media as a whole, really ESPN should approach the game and its impact that ultimately got us here?
Man, this is crazy, man. Obviously there's a level of grit and tenacity that you want journalists to have because there's going to be a lot of times where they may catch the backlash for something they didn't even do. A player might be frustrated and they come into the interview and they got to catch hell and you still got to go through that because that's your job. But the level of this magnitude, man, and I think the reason why it's really hitting Stephen A as hard as it is, like you say, is because he has a lot of personal relationships with a lot of these players outside of basketball. Not LeBron,
Right.
He's already come out and said that him and LeBron for the last handful of years have just been high and by on circumstances, and it's because the way he critiques them. And people might say LeBron might be soft for that, but I'm cool with it. Hey, if you ain't got no shit to say to me, bro, why am I shaking your hand all in your face, blah, blah, blah with you, bro? Like, high and by, we keep it cordial. We walk past each other, man. But yeah, it's a whole new level, man. I don't think ESPN or anybody else is gonna change the way they do this going forward. I think the main part that LeBron probably had a problem with was probably more so Stephen A on his own podcast and talking on other people's podcasts, which was the problem, his own platform. So,
and I think LeBron had been hearing it all year.
Yeah, definitely.
And Stephen A gave him a reason. And he saw Stephen A, and I think he saw Red. And he was just like, you know what? I'm about to make an example out of him. What makes this really remarkable is Skip talked about this man for the better part of 20 years.
Facts.
LeBron never responded to him. And Stephen A is the one that got LeBron still had said something about Skip. The only thing, the closest that we've come to LeBron saying anything about Skip is when we found out that he had a letter, "I told you so" letter written out. And he was going to explicitly name Skip if they won the finals in 2011. And because they didn't, they ended up winning in 2012 and 2013. It was like, well, now we know about the letter, so you damn sure can't say anything.
Facts.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the NBA is covered by Stephen A. going forward, because he's still making videos talking about their whole interaction and all that kind of stuff. But like when I tell you that shit hit him, man, like that shit really hit him hard, and you can see it. You can see it.
Oh, he just did a whole segment on Gil's Arena about it. Gilbert Arenas.
Right, exactly what I'm saying. He's still fucking talking about it. He's still talking about LeBron played. LeBron tore his done pulled his groin and everything. Luka out, all that shit, man. He had a whole man problem. Man, still talking about the shit they had. I guess we still talking about it too. Hey man, moving on. Let's get into the news. And man, this story is still kind of tough. This story is a tough story, man.
Definitely.
Gene Hackman, he was up there in age or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's the circumstances surrounding his death, man. Like he lost his wife and the dog died too.
The dog.
When you get to the details of it, it appears that the wife died first from like a disease that you get from rats. So I'm assuming the rat bit her. There's no word on like the living conditions that they were in, but like everything was just kind of interesting. Right. Apparently, Gene suffered from Alzheimer's, and he had a heart condition too. And it looks like he wasn't taking his medication, because my theory is when his wife died, that triggered Alzheimer's.
Right.
It sounds like he may have been the person that put the dog in the closet, and with the Alzheimer's, he just never went and got the dog back. So that's how the dog died. And then it sounds like he may have either was going to take his medicine or something,
right,
or knocked over his pills or something like that, but he died when his pacemaker gave out. And man, that's the tragic death of Gene Hackman, who was a wonderful, wonderful, awesome actor. With that being said, man, I want to remember the awesome and cool shit he did. And of course, the one I'm going with, like in terms of my favorite role that he had, of course, is Lex Luthor. Like he brought that character to life perfectly. It was from the pages to life. Everybody talks about Jack Nicholson as Joker. Gene Hackman was definitely a great Lex Luthor. And Kevin Spacey in Superman Returns, he just emulated that performance, and Kevin Spacey was also good. But if you're going to talk about my favorite Gene Hackman scene, it has to be, is that Under Siege with Denzel Washington? The moment where they were talking about launching the nukes, and Denzel and Gene tore that scene up, man. I haven't even seen that entire movie, but I've seen that scene, and I'm like, nah, man, that was some grade A Oscar worthy acting between those two. Like they got down to it, man. Before we move on, what's your favorite memory of Gene Hackman on screen?
Oh man, so I got two, man. The first time I was even introduced to Gene Hackman, I'm a younger cat, 93, was a voice acting job. And I watched this movie by mistake. Like I didn't even know what I was watching until I started watching it. It was the movie Ants. I was not familiar with DreamWorks at all at that point. I thought everything animated was Disney. And then I saw Ants thinking it was some Bugs Life spinoff, and it was completely wrong. But I enjoyed the shit out the movie. And he played the shit out of General Mandible, man. Like, if there was ever an ant that I wanted to step on, bro, it was General Mandible, man. He did a phenomenal job of bringing that character to life, so to speak. So that was probably my first experience with him. But of course, obviously being the coach and the replacements, man. Growing up loving football, that was just second nature for me. And just his performance, him and Keanu just bouncing off of each other, man. I thought that was brilliant in my eyes as a kid, man. I thought that was top tier. I wanted my coach to be like him.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? The faith that he had in Keanu and the rest of the replacement players coming back and like, never giving up on them and 10 toes down, like, hey, if this shit don't happen, man, you out of here. Well, I'm a bet on my players type shit. And they did what they had to do, man. So shout out to Gene Hackman, man.
Yeah. Correction, it was Crimson Tide, not Under Siege. Under Siege, that terrible movie with Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's Crimson Tide. Now I'm going to make sure I go and watch Crimson Tide. But yeah, the French Connection, like you said, Ants, and that's another film. It's escaping me right now that he was also awesome in. Enemy of the State.
I was just about to say Enemy of the State, man.
Killed that shit, man. He killed it. He killed it in Enemy of the State. So yeah, man. R.I.P. Gene Hackman. Right. Another good one. R.I.P. Gene Hackman. R.I.P. to his wife. And shit, R.I.P. to the dog too, man. Yeah, it's just really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. All right. Oh, Greg said in Hoosiers also. Let's see if we can get Greg back.
Shout out Hoosiers, man.
Man, I ain't gonna make no promise, but Lord, please just let me do this dang on podcast.
All right, we got you back. It sounds like you're with us. It looks like you were able to hear the Gene Hackman discussion. And yeah, you added in Hoosiers. Did you have anything else to shout him out with?
Oh no, well, you said Enemy of the State. That was my first introduction to him. With him and Will Smith, man, that was a really good movie. I liked his portrayal of how they actually had him as like this like rogue type agent somewhat. But it was a real good movie. To be honest, seeing him and Will in that movie, the way they carried it was real good. Like it just seemed like two action stars that were kind of on two, I guess you could say two different type of action spectrums, but they work together. Like I don't know if you remember how we grew up and we were like, you'll never see these two rappers work together. It was kind of like that thing. Like I would have never thought seeing Gene and Will work together in a movie.
So the thing with Gene, like Gene has that. Think about Unforgiven. It's very calculated. Like that. He's not a bang bang action guy. He's the guy that's going to be your villain in the action movie typically. So having Quick and the Dead, that's another one. Like he wasn't that dude that's just this badass or whatever. My God, he could play a great villain. And seeing him in kind of that different light with Will and Enemy of the State, like I said, yeah, you kind of saw a little bit of that. Just from the one scene I saw from Crimson Tide, you kind of saw a little bit of that between he and Denzel, but he and Will kind of took it to another place. So yeah, man, it's like the Hollywood really lost a good one, man. They lost an incredible actor. Goddamn, man, Alzheimer's, bro. It's tough. It's a tough way to go.
Facts.
I guess we're kind of on the darker end of this show at this point because I mean, Diddy, the wide net of chaos involved around this man is crazy at this point. And so this lawsuit was filed a while back, and now Odell and Druski have been. The allegations are very heinous. Long story short, they said that the young lady who is filing the suit she was talking to a friend or something, and she said something about Diddy killing Tupac. Said Diddy lost his damn mind. And from the sound of it sounds like the friend may have set her up, allegedly, for Diddy, Druski, and Odell to assault her. As uncomfortable as this is, and definitely gonna put a trigger warning up on here. I just want to lay out everything. So they said that Diddy did the assault first, and then Druski did it. And here's why I'm having trouble with this. I don't know if you all have heard the details about this or read about like what was said in terms of what Druski allegedly did. It sounds like something. It's a poorly written lawsuit. I also want to make sure I bring that point up. It's a poorly written lawsuit, but this is what was discussed when it came to the Druski side of it. Just a moment. So the allegation is defendant Druski then caught himself from sliding over the plaintiff's whole body off the bed, and then he then began assaulting the plaintiff. Bruh, they're saying, and the part that's missing from this, they're saying that Druski doused this lady with baby oil and was slipping and sliding all over her. And it further injured her because of his weight. When I tell you it's poorly written and it sounds so unbelievable. And like I'm a person that's like, look, let all the facts and everything comes out. But this does sound like somebody that was in a proximity to Diddy at one point, and this has been the issue with the number of allegations that have come out. It sounds like they were in proximity to Diddy and just put something out there and put Odell out there. And then they're saying there was a party going on, so apparently there, I guess, would be some other witnesses. And she got into, I think, like a screaming match with Druski and Odell, and they left. What Druski's defense was when he came out was like, I wasn't even a public figure then. I never would even been around Diddy at this point. Odell has completely laughed it off. Well, not laughed it off, but he's completely dismissed it. He was like, man, the truth gonna come tonight. I'm not worried about this. I brought this up in another episode. We didn't know Jay-Z's situation was dismissed until like somebody randomly highlighted it. I feel like this is going to end up getting dismissed as well. But man, it's just Diddy isn't a good dude. I just want to make that abundantly clear. But man, there needs to be some kind of recourse for people who can just arbitrarily people's names out there and have their names stained in the most egregious and sensational ways. Now, if this all comes out to be true, then it's just a fucking wild story. But the way it's laid out and written, man, and like any lawyer can just really just go and file something. It just don't sit right with me. Greg, like what do you think about this whole situation?
First off, I never realized Diddy's hairline was so fucked up like that. Like I didn't know his hair. If you look at it, his hairline off center. But I
He got a pointy
really,
forehead.
yeah, it's weird. I've been looking at it the whole time. But since we do live in a litigious country, but it was wild to hear about it. I think my only thing is when Druski was like, I wasn't even a known figure back in 2018. It kind of made me think, I get what he's saying, but at the same time, it's kind of like, and I say this with a big grain of salt, I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just saying that you're not a public figure is a reason why you're innocent is a wild thing to say because that does not mean you doing things behind closed doors didn't set your pathway up. but I understand what he's saying. I'm just like, that doesn't, wipe it. But it's wild when you read it. Like you said, it was poorly put together. I'm hoping that the facts do come out, and I respect Druski for actually coming out defending his name. I know his PR manager was like, "Bro, just shut up." But when something like that come out, dog, you really want to be like, "Are these my people?" And I want them to hear from my mouth, not from a PR standpoint, because that makes it seem like I had to get my PR manager to coin something together for me to say in order to keep my name from, keep me from incriminating myself. But
when it's heinous shit like that, the silence is what gets you to me.
Hey,
the silence is what gets you. Man, I hear some shit like that. I'm going. I said that about Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Bro, nah, I'm about to act a fool. I'm about to act a fool, man. I know I'm innocent. Nah, I'm about to say something. And that's why I like that Odell said something too. Like, man, nah, we ain't doing that. Now, Diddy sat up there. He was cooked when he denied the cast thing. They put the video out the next day. He has yet to come out and say that he's innocent of anything in this situation. And knowing how Diddy is, that's all I'm gonna say about it.
He's powerful, man.
Right. Knowing how Diddy is all I'm gonna say about it. Chris, you had any thoughts on this?
I mean, we're not gonna beat the dead horse here, man. Like you said, innocent until proven guilty. Everything comes out, everything on the forefront. If they did it, throw their ass under the jail.
Absolutely. But that's the other thing. This is a civil suit. That's the other part of it, man. Like, we don't hear about this criminally or whatever. This is a civil suit. Charlamagne raised up a good point. He said it should be a requirement in situations like this that you criminally first. Let the police and the detectives investigate it, and at that point you can file civil. That makes sense to me.
Facts.
You can't just like being able to do that. And I understand, like, some victims don't want to speak on things like that. I want to make that clear. I understand that. That part I absolutely get. But on the other side, if you decide to speak on it, it's substantiated somehow. Like, we can't because we've seen people. I saw the thing where people were out there talking about believe all women. And I saw where the lady who jumped off the Me Too movement said, I never said that and would never say anything like that, because we have seen women. And then she was like, especially as a Black woman and a Black person, I wouldn't say that, because we have seen women weaponize a lot against Black people and they get killed over it. The biggest example of that is Emmett Till.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we need due process. That's why we need an actual investigation and things of that nature. Because lies are dangerous and lies can get you killed.
Definitely.
We had another situation. Oh man, what was that? I want to say it's the dude who played Romeo in the Steve Harvey show. That man died because a girl, an underage girl, lied and said that he did something to her, and her folks went and killed that man.
Yep.
I got another example after this. Her folks went and killed that man, and they in jail, and she just out here walking around free. Another example, it was I think a former football player, and his ex-girlfriend said that he was beating on her, right? Her brothers came over there.
Yep, I know exactly.
Ready to jump on him, and he came out with the hammer and killed. I think he did. I don't know if he killed both of them. I know he got one of them.
Yeah.
He came out there and he handled business. That man went on trial. And over the course of the conversations, they just peeled back the layers on her lies, and it had video from that night where she was clearly the aggressor and where she clearly told them to come over there And I think they had video of him not putting his hands on it and all that kind of stuff. Like they never had an interaction that day.
Right.
That girl got up there, man, and the level of lies that she told that were uncovered over the course of that court proceeding was insane. Like, but the thing is, she was playing with her family members' lives in that. When I tell you, it don't look like an ounce of remorse on that stand for the fact that she got her brother killed.
Facts.
And again, she free. It was the football player who had to defend his name and defend himself on the stand so that he wouldn't go to jail for murder or manslaughter. She didn't have anything on the line, and she just out there. So yeah, man, I like due process. I'm a very big proponent of that. And having the evidence, because man, stuff like this affects people and it touches people's lives in very real ways. So if they're wrong, if they actually did all this stuff, prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law, make them pay. But it's just not right that people can just put your name on a lawsuit and then it become public. And then when everything is dismissed, you don't even get a fucking article.
Right. Crazy.
Yeah, there's got to be consequences for sure.
Got to be something. It's a middle ground, and I don't even necessarily think it needs to be a consequence, because I can understand how there can be, end up being a deterrent from people coming forward. I believe a full-on investigation needs to be conducted, and I do believe the statute of limitations needs to change on it. And a full investigation needs to take place before we get into the civil side, because everybody just want to get money,
right?
In a lot of situations, and then that derails actual victims getting any kind of restitution. All right, I'm sick of this man right here. We're gonna leave off with some levity here. Greg, do you watch Game of Thrones?
All right. Okay. Hear me out. Don't.
So
sorry. I've given that show 5 times to get my interest. And all 5 times I stopped at the one scene that everybody tells me if you get past, it'll get better. But I just can't get past it. And it just, I don't know, man. I watched the, what was it, the movie Damsel? I play Skyrim, love Skyrim, man. That's one of my top games I play. But I just could not sit down respectfully and watch that show. I just couldn't. I tried, man.
What was the scene they wanted you to get to?
Well, the cousins were smacking cheeks, and I don't know, man. That just didn't sit.
That ain't the scene. I tell everybody, man, the first season of Game of Thrones is all world building. You got to get the episode 9. That's where with the it's not. Is it Ned Stark?
No.
At the last season, last episode,
the first 1? Episode. No, it's because I think season 1 is like 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Which one is the one where they kill? It's Ned. Yeah.
Where they kill the last episode.
Oh man, I can't watch it now.
That's when you get there. When you get to that point, it changes the whole show. And from that point, you're good.
Here's the crazy part. I've actually met the mountain in person. I have pictures with the mountain in person. Like literally,
you shared those.
Dude, like the dude 6'9". Like I met him in person. He's a cool dude. And when I had to remember that he was an actor too, I didn't think about Game of Thrones. I was just like, oh man, I met Halfthor Bjornsson. Cool. He lift weights. And people were like, yeah, that's Mountain. I'm like, who?
Who the fuck is the Mountain?
Yeah, like who? Like, man, I tried. I told myself, like, I'm going to try to explore it again. That along with Star Wars, I'm making it a point to try to sit down and watch those.
Okay.
With that being said, Game of Thrones started off as a book series. HBO picked it up and said this was pretty good TV, and George R.R. Martin. Oh God help. Wrote the series, and after season 5 is where the books end. Greg, just to let you know.
Facts.
The loyal book readers have been waiting for so long for his next book, The Winds of Winter. Every so often, people go and just randomly ask, where are you with The Winds of Winter? And every time he has a different answer. I remember one time he got an attitude and he said, it'll be finished when it's finished. God damn.
Oh.
It'll be done when it's done. Then somebody asked him because they was like, look, man, you getting up there in age, bro. And we don't know how much longer you're going to be around here. And we need these books. And he cussed that person out. I remember seeing this shit. He cussed that person.
You about to expire, dog.
The woman who wrote Outlander was asked because they're friends. They were asked, like, so how are you able to get these books out? And this is the gist of the question. How are you able to get these books out? And George R.R. Martin is really just bullshit. That's kind of how they asked it. She was like, I'm a different writer from him. Like, when inspiration strikes me, it's all the time. Like she said, I've wrote whole chapters on napkins in a restaurant before. I have my own process. He has his own process. Bro. Oh my God. I'm not even a Game of Thrones book reader, but I feel sorry for the people who are at this point. And like, I'm on this train. This man keeps coming out talking about other books he wants to write and shit like that. Like, this is trolling at this point. So I got some theories about George R.R. Martin and why Winds of Winter hasn't come out. First theory. Game of Thrones, the show, was so big and made him so much money that he got fuck you money now. And he like, I'm about to see the world. I'm about to just do whatever it is that I want to do. I ain't worried about no goddamn Winds of Winter. That's my first theory.
That's fair.
Second theory is that the show's ending is so far away from what he did or so close to what he wants to do, and he saw the reception of it and he is chickened out and he doesn't want to put the rest of those books out because he's trying to fix it and he can't. That's my other one. All right. Theory number 3. He got writer's block. He don't know where the story is going anymore. He got writer's block, and the books are so detailed that he doesn't know how to proceed forward. Like, he just can't get back into that groove again. The show is over. He's made all this money, and he's so far separated from the book at this point. The last one, and this is probably the one I'm kind of on board with the most. He bullshitting. He just bullshitting. He's not doing his homework no more. He out here gallivanting, enjoying life. He going to shop at Trader Joe's.
He peeling running my dad.
He enjoying himself, man. He having a good time in Las Vegas. When he go to the Hollywood, he tear the city up. He is out here. This boy is enjoying his damn life. He basically said what Rihanna said when it comes to music. I'm done with this shit. I made the money that I came in this bitch to make. I'm gone. I'm about to bullshit y'all. And I just want to keep teasing y'all and giving y'all false hope that I'm going to come back and do this shit again. Because I'm not. I'm out. That's what I think. Those are my 4 theories. Chris, you're firmly in the whole controversy surrounding this. Of the 4 theories, which one you going with? Or do you have one of your own?
Oh, man, you brought up I think all 4 of them could definitely be legit reasons as to why, for sure. I'm probably gonna roll with the top 2 to me. Like you said, the last one, I think he just don't even really give a fuck no more. And why would you, right?
I done made all this goddamn money. Fuck it.
I'm chilling, bro. And then the second one, like you said, I think the reception that they got for the way, because seasons 1 through 6, fucking phenomenal. Yeah, Greg, you got to get to the last episode of season 1, and then if you don't rock with it no more, I understand. It's just not for you, brother.
Season 4 is the best season, by the way. Good God Almighty.
You said that about The Walking Dead too, man. But here we are.
Oh no! Don't you ever? Hold on, wait, no, I can't do that. Don't you ever compare with The Walking Dead to Game of Thrones? Ever
blasphemy?
Ever do that?
That was heinous, brother.
Man, don't you ever do that. The Walking Dead will literally have half of a season of them walking in the woods. Walking Dead, God damn it, you done made me go off rail, man. If The Walking Dead had a stayed focused and did what they did in season 1, those 5-6 episodes all felt different from each other. There was always some kind of progression there. Mm-hmm. And they slowed to a crawl when they saw how massive of a hit that show was. And they was like, we are just going to bullshit y'all.
Facts.
And piecemeal this show for y'all. And get as many seasons. The book moves so much faster than the show ever did. AMC, there should be a lawsuit against them for how they handle their show. And AMC since has Interview with a Vampire, which I swear is one of the best TV shows out, period, bar none. Mm-hmm. That show has way more lore than Walking Dead ever had, and the seasons move quickly.
Thanks.
Right? Both for the first 2 seasons. And I wanted to blame Robert Kirkman because of how invincible season 2 was. And I said, it looked like they about to Walking Dead this thing. And if they do, that's Robert Kirkman's fault and not the showrunners of Invincible. I think they were going to do that. And the blowback was so bad that they picked up the pace of Invincible season 3. I really do.
Facts.
But to compare, The Walking Dead is way slower than Game of Thrones ever aspired to be. Way slower.
All right, man.
Boy, you crazy as hell for bringing that shit up, man. I hate that damn show. When I tapped out, people say they tapped out when Negan killed Glenn. That's when they said that.
Yeah.
And that was tough.
Right.
I tapped out when them motherfuckers went to that terminus shit after they got away from the cannibals. And they brought us back to Walking in the Woods again. That's when I quit. I said, y'all just had this hype ass shit happen. And that happened. The term is they was trapped inside of the tanker or whatever it was because they were all separated. Man, you done made me go off track. They were all separated. And then they came back and Rick had that cold ass line when he was looking around. He had all his people with him. And he was like, they don't know it yet. And they said, no, what? He said, they just fucked up. And they came out and they killed all the cannibals and got out of Terminus. And them motherfuckers spent honest to goodness, they spent the next 3 weeks walking around in the I stopped that damn show. I stopped. And I went back and I Googled how they ended and I still don't give a fuck. We about to get out of here. I'm done on that note. That's it. That's the show, man. I can't believe you sat up here and made me talk about The Walking Dead like that.
Man, my bad, man. I just tried, man. I tried. I'm gonna try it again.
Cannot believe
he cooked them.
I can't believe you sat up here. What the fuck? Oh, this is the wrong show. I can't believe you sat up here and made me talk about The Walking Dead.
Oh, I tried, man.
I was having a good day too, man. I was having a good day. I was doing all right, man. Man brought up The Walking Dead while we were talking about Game of Thrones. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I'm gone. It's time to go to bed now, man. That was it. That was it. And then the takes that you came on this show to give us, that's why your internet betrayed you like that.
Wow.
I cannot believe.
Wow.
I can't believe you
It'll
did
be
me like
fixed.
that.
It will be fixed next time.
It will, man. It will. We missed you, bro. We missed you, bro. But we did our thing. So, on behalf, we're at the end again. Thank you for joining us. Next week, the plan is to talk about Paradise, which I absolutely love that show. We'll get to it. We'll do a deep dive into it and talk about how great Hulu's latest hit was. And thankfully, it already has been confirmed for season 2. But until then, on behalf of my esteemed colleagues, Hoodie C and Quad G, I am Jarius, the Unapologetic Geek. Do not forget to like and share and subscribe. And always tune in. And until next time, we are the Unapologetic Opinion Podcast. And we are out.
U-GeekTV.